The budget session and is likely to see a lot of commotion once again as the opposition plans to corner the Modi government. The opposition has submitted 651 amendments to the President's address to the joint session of Parliament. The arguments presented by the opposition are mostly against demonetization. Leaders like Sitaram Yechuri and Derek O'Brien of TMC lament over the death of hundreds of people due to demonetization. Congress and TMC have called for a meeting as well to chalk out the floor strategy before the convening of the House for today. In news that came in earlier, opposition leaders such as K.C. Venugopal and N.K. Premachandran have also given an adjournment motion in Lok Sabha over the issue of Mr. E Ahmed's demise last week. But let's go across to my colleague now.
Regarding the issue of the sad demise of the veteran parliamentarian and the former Minister of External Affairs, Mr. E Ahamed. The grave disrespect shown to him after he being collapsed in the Parliament House and then brought to the hospital, the hospital authorities have shown grave disrespect to him, and our contention is that his official communication of his death has been declared long late, and that too after the intervention of the Honorable Madam Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and almost all the senior leaders of the country. It is quite unfortunate to note that a senior member of parliament who had been there in the parliament for the last more than 25 years and had been the minister for 10 years and veteran leader of Indian Union Muslim League, after being admitted in the hospital using the bouncers and preventing the MPs, preventing the VIPs, preventing even the Congress president, and even his daughter and son were not allowed to see him. That is a pathetic situation which we have faced in the RML hospital. It is definitely, we know that something the government is hiding. When he has died, what are the circumstances leading to his death? Why his body is disfigured? Because after his death, embalming was done, and subsequently when we seeing, it is very difficult even to identify whether it is the dead body of Mr. E Ahamed. In such a condition, the body has been transformed. All these things have happened because we are still under the apprehension, and the people are also under suspicion that all these things were done with an intention to just to make the budget on the same day in the same time. So as to have the budget in time, all these things were done with a political motive by the government. It is quite unfortunate. In order to mark our protest, we have given notice of adjournment on the last working day, that is last Friday. Unfortunately, the 0-hour submission was also given. Unfortunately, the submission was not allowed by the government benches. That is a very interesting fact, because if there is nothing to hide by the government, there is no fault on the part of the government, then why the government is hesitating to make a statement in the parliament? So our definite demand is, let the government comes out with a statement in the parliament. What has happened to him? What are the consequences which he had met in the hospital? Why the relatives, the close blood relatives, were prevented from seeing him? And all these matters have to be inquired into. So our submission or our demand is to have a high-level inquiry, even a parliamentary committee or a Lok Sabha committee inquiry into the...
Very serious allegations that are coming in from the opposition based on what the family alleges, that they were not allowed to even see Mr. E Ahamed in those last moments, and was declared dead much later after he had arrived in the hospital because he collapsed in the parliament on the budget day in the central hall during President's address. But the opposition, they're saying that the family was given disrespect and wasn't even allowed to see Mr. Ahamed in the last moments that he was there in the hospital. Serious charge that's coming in from the opposition. But let's go across to my colleague Madhav for more on this. Madhav, Mr. E Ahmed's death being used as a tool for adjournment, or is it a genuine cause that the opposition is raising, especially with the allegations that have come in from the family?
Well, absolutely. In fact, the opposition is, of course, going to raise this issue, particularly the Congress, which has seen even members from Kerala walk out of the Lok Sabha on this very issue. I have with me Sulaiman of the Congress, as well as Sudesh Verma of the BJP. I'll begin with you. You've raised the issue of E Ahmed's death, the manner in which it was handled. We can expect that this issue would be raised today in the Lok Sabha as well.
Yeah, Congress party has, on that day only when the budget was presented, has raised the issue, and it is a very important issue. People have raised questions. there are rumors and reports that Mr. E Ahmed has died hours before when he was declared. His family was not allowed to meet him, his son, his daughter. So these are the questions which the Congress party will raise, and the government has to reply that what was the reason that his family was not allowed to meet him in the hospital. And there are questions and people saying that because of the budget this was done to delay and prolong his news of declaration of his death.
Let me raise this issue with the BJP. In fact, members are saying that several days after the budget has been presented, that the process that the government followed was an attempt to scuttle and to cover up the death of a member, a minister no less, and that was only to avoid any sort of threat to the budget itself being presented.
Congress has a habit of doing politics over dead bodies, and here also Congress is doing the same. It does conspiracy all the time, so it is talking of conspiracy. You see, it's the doctors who decided. You should leave it to the doctors, they tried their best to revive, and maybe that has taken time. Why should they always, try to put the government in the dock? You cannot run the country if you have always doubt on one thing or other. You want to set up a commission, you want to inquire, because let the dead get the respect it deserves, because everything was done in a proper way, and they should not try to doubt everything.
Absolutely, that you are doing politics over a dead body. That's the allegation of the BJP.
No, I think Mr. Sudesh Verma is completely wrong, and he should recall that what Mr. Modi has done after those that boogie was burned in 2002, just before it at Godhra, and all the bodies were taken to Ahmedabad, and some feelings were incited because of that. So we have never done the politics on dead bodies. It's it's the prerogative of the Bharatiya Janata Party and its leaders, and Mr. E Ahmed's issue is a very vital issue. It's a common sense that how the immediate members of the family, the son, the daughter and the wife, are not allowed to meet him when he is almost in a very serious condition. Why for hours they were not allowed to meet him, and his news of his death was delayed and prolonged for hours.
Family members were not.
This is not true, Madhav, because you see, when someone is in the ICU, I am talking from my experience. I am not a doctor handling the case. They should be in the best position to answer it, and they should answer it if the Congress has some questions. But when the ICU is there, you do not allow any relative to go inside the ICU. So when the patient is being treated, there is very, very ingenuine demand that the relative say that I should go. That is my perception, general perception, which I have seen in hospital. But in this case particularly, you should ask the doctors. You should trust the doctors. Why do you see politics everywhere?
All right, so clearly, of course, we're going to be seeing this issue that would be raised in the House. Clearly, members of Parliament from Kerala who've said that injustice has been done. Of course, what will the government's stance on this be? And really, will the members actually manage to hold up proceedings of the House? That's what remains to be seen today.
Right, Madhav, on that note, we have to take a tiny breather, but we will, of course, keep coming back to you for more on the developments expected in the Parliament later today. We'll be right back.